How dare you? How dare you? How dare you?
Big up,
What's
welcome
up?
to
What's
That Smoke
up?
Show. What's going on? Evil Deadly Cards, how you doing this evening?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you. Not a lot of big change, but at least we're gonna try to get a couple intro and outro in the next few show. Let's see what people like the best, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I like the
Um,
how dare you?
who doesn't like?
How dare you? How dare you?
I mean, Greta, I mean, she sums it up.
Yeah,
I mean, I also like this one too.
Yay!
yeah, I like that one for sure.
Yay!
We need a bit more motivation into it. Like, the guy's trying.
But let me tell you something. I love weed, okay? I love it. But not as much as I love pussy.
Oh,
So, what are you smoking on tonight?
um, I don't know what's name of, but that's not bad. It's just really
My,
old, no name
my
stuff.
Candyland BX, the same one for a little bit now. Been enjoying it. Really sticky, really good, really terpy. So, I mean, even though it's a cookies cross, I hate to admit that I'm smoking cookies cross. Um, but it proves why cookies is a great strain to actually cross stuff to, because it just makes everything look better. And
It's not as
guarantee,
leafy, right? And
yeah,
one thing that I'm always thinking at is not as leafy. There's like it's the bud structure is dense and it produces well under low light. That's what
well,
I remember
the
about.
thing I actually think that's really good about it is it's a type of strain that you can cross with, like, say, an old landrace, where you're trying to get something out of the landrace, but then you're also trying to achieve today's standard, like, of aesthetic looks that's going to work on Instagram and places, and YouTube and places like that, right? It's harder to find something that won't, like, you cross it and it won't throw half of itself on there. I think it improves the look of a lot of things, but it doesn't lend much to it. So you kind of get a more modern version of what you were trying to do. But then again, it's been killed in the last 2 years by just being overdone.
One of the thing I've just noticed is that triangle OG, how it's shaped. A lot of the strain have to get that kind of shape now, right?
Yep.
So a lot of people do whatever outcross that still have that kind of shape at bud. Even I've seen some people growing with the gelato cross and whatever other things that if there's some gelato in it, and they had that nugget structure, like small nugget, pretty dense and whatever, well formed, but all over the plant. Um, I really don't think it's that much of a bad idea for the market, whatever. But I just think that all those
Oh,
strains are from few plants,
yep,
and they
yep.
need to outcross to have a healthy line from it. And then they've kind of
Well,
incrossed with cousin, and I don't. I just
I
find
don't.
it a
I
bit
see. I
weird when
kind
I
of.
try to do the lineage. I'm not against any of the result. I'm looking at the result, and then trying to analyze the lineage of those things and try to figure out um, on how the gene have worked to get to there, and kind of trying to understand stuff instead of just judging.
I mean, I assume that if you go back in any strain far enough, you reach a bottleneck where somebody just had a handful of, and then brought them somewhere else, gave them to a bunch of people, and they got grown up from that. And what stayed, and like it would have started with small genetic
Yeah, and
pool,
it's maybe the
and
4 or
then
5 good plant in the field, and then if
exactly,
they bring another guy that have maybe 4 or 5 good one in 100, and then it gets back to have
and then
fucking
it just
closet goer
and then the
that back
population
20 times to the ground that you've got from it.
exactly, and then everything starts looking like each other or somewhat like each other, and then there's a few outliers, and then it's like then your local land race is born, right? Are we actually just watching local North American land race be born? Is that actually what it is? Because it all stems
No,
back
it's
to a
not a
few,
land race. It's an
well, I guess
amalgam
not land
of
race, but
strain.
I guess that,
So
yeah,
yeah, it's uniformized at one point, but the thing that do not happen in America as much that could have happened in those other countries where humans were bringing things there and had
yep,
other wave of people bringing seeds after that, like the first generation have already adapted and they bring a bit of something else with their trip or exchange. But what doesn't happen here is people doesn't grow a patch of weed in their backyard that get mixed with the next thing in the backyard that have maybe similar origin area, but a tiny bit, 2 valley away, a guy had seeds. You get seeds in another 2 valley away and bring it here, and your neighbor have probably just made different farmer from those 2 valley and bring back seeds also. So you have a bit more kind of a, uh, uh, they are closer related at one point, but at the same time, they are not that close related because they come from big population that are really more closer to their original original population, which is already super diverse. So I'm looking at it at that point, like, when people were studying Darwin, they
yep,
they were like, he knew that selection doesn't really work exactly like that, but that was a really good way to trying to explain some of the things that happen in evolution, because he still kind of had some good side about it. So one of the things that I'm thinking at is that bird that in the island just besides starting to be a kind of vampire bird. I mean, that bird still go well.
yeah, yeah.
They evolve into that, and that's a kind of just different behavior of feeding. But normally, feeding it's major in the behavior. The iguana that are there are spitting, like snorting, whatever they spit the salt out of them. They are super cute, but they go eat some fucking algae and aquatic plant. You never have an iguana do that anywhere else.
No, that's true.
So that you know if you still have some really nice cross coming out from all those weird thing happening, it's surely not because the population is in total isolation, like they don't have any choice to. But if you have really a small pocket of seeds that you always select from it in the same environment, sure, you do a bit of that effect, but the population need to be big enough to be able to reject those that won't survive without having too much. I think it's just the inbreeding coefficient that go into that. I don't want to say anything wrong, but yeah, I think it's a bit like so to have that you need. I was guessing closer to what will be an individual from the closer to original population, but we have a mix of that and other that are super line bred forever and other that are super mixed with everything, but still are dominant for their type. Now, all that get recrossed together now. So that's where like my brain just exploded of trying to figure out anything in it. Analyze your group of seeds you got, man, and then try to see with the lineage or whatever. But like it doesn't work the same way. You need to approach your work on different angles. So what I find now is you may be able to see some traits that are jumping from a type of plant to another, but they all come from the, let's say, the Triangle Kush or whatever other clone that a lot of people have passed to breed with.
Oh, that loose. Oh, you broke up there for a second.
Oh, I'm broken. Anyway,
No, it's my connection.
okay. But yeah, I think that now there's a lot of people that are able to, let's say, trace down some trait. Let's say you'd say the den structure of the cookies, whatever that you cross with something else. Well, if you start to have more of the cookie structure, let's say on a tropical plant flower, it won't survive in that humidity. It's stupid. Don't do that. Probably won't. Anyway, so that's one of the things. Another thing that could be is um, the the branch may be more floppy because there's not as equal weight all along. Maybe that's one thing I've seen with a lot of strain that you another thing I've seen is the people will complain about the veg time or the stretch. They really never complain about the veg time, but will complain that the plant stretch. Oh, your camera is fucked up for a moment. You still there?
I just gotta bring it.
Okay, you're back.
I gotta bring cable in. My internet
Okay.
is good.
That's a funny one. At least you still have power. So yeah, let's say that people will never complain about how long the veg are plant. I've seen a pack of seeds lately that the guy was recommending 75 day of veg time. I was finding it quite funny. I'm like, holy shit, that plant will be big if you don't bend it. 75 day of veg, you start to have a pretty big plant. So yeah, if people would start to think more at the total time of growth for their plant, like how many hours of light I've put on that plant and how much days I grow the plant. There's some math that can be done to be like, okay, I can justify to have a couple tropical plants, but I cannot necessarily always treat them like at 18 hours of light for a month and a half because they don't need 18 hours of light. A lot of those plants will do really fine with 14, 15 hours of light and they'll veg like crazy. They'll thin veg with 14, 15 hours of light. So the critical, like when a plant would like to trigger in flower, will be more influenced by how much hours of light and the age of the plant from seeds. And the pot size also. If you put it in pots, a plant will want to flower sooner than
as soon as it maxes out the root. Yeah, as soon as it maxes out that pot. Sorry about that. I had to plug my cat sticks in because I don't have any more internet problems.
Yeah, I think that if you remove the soundboard, your mic will get clear again. You have a tiny bit of crackling.
Stealing my soundbar.
Poor soundbox. I don't know what
Oh! What
you've got there?
don't know.
Technical difficulty.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Hear me now.
yeah.
Just try.
All right.
I don't want to get rid of the soundboard yet. I will just move the mic closer to my mouth.
All right. Well, yeah. So,
Because if I
one
get rid of the
thing.
soundboard, I can't do this stuff.
You mean we're smoking dog shit, man?
Some Labrador.
Motherfucker, what?
You got some Labrador, man.
Man, I mean Labrador. That sounds like chem dog, right? They used to call that dog breed first, before they called it chem dog.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
what about some Chihuahua OG? I want to yap all night long and bite some finger.
That's pretty good, man. Who doesn't want some Chihuahua OG?
Yeah, yeah. That's like the
That
dwarf.
that sneaks up behind you and bites you in the ass.
Yeah, it's like the dwarf of the OG. It's really small, but it's me.
OG lowrider.
Well, the lowrider will be a bit more chill, I guess. I hope so. I really enjoy when I see how I don't know, man. What's the really utility of having the truck like bouncing the car like crazy?
Oh,
I
yeah,
find it
hydraulics.
funny for the competition that they try to bounce the car the highest possible, but there's nobody in that car anyway. And there's a super huge compressor in the back.
Dude, I had a buddy when I lived in Calgary that he had he had bought a truck off of a hydraulic shop that was loaded, and it was so fun, but he broke that thing so many times, and he was always waiting to get in and get the frame welded and shit on it. It was sick.
He was breaking the
sick.
frame, just lifting it and dropping it.
Oh yeah, he'd be bouncing the front end, and you'd be freewheeling around corners. Then he'd you pull up the lights, and you just pancake it down to the ground. But no vehicle's meant to move like that and that much. Eventually, it's just problems too much. It was sweet. He used to have this. It had a paint job on it that looked like it was actually a show truck that he had bought, and it looked like scales going down the side of it, but it was iridescent. So when you walked past it in the sun, it looked like the snake was slithering. It looked like it was moving. It was really cool that way.
I would like to have I don't know how to call it. Is it the auto car? Just a framing with a really good suspension and a good motor in it that you can just go everywhere with that thing. Like when I see the side by side, I'm like, yeah, well, that thing is like
Almost.
the good
Almost.
thing, whatever. But it's not a side by side I want. It's like a side by side. It's cool for working, going to hunt or whatever. But I want something I just want to, I don't know, get covered in mud and trying to get in place I should never try to get with a pickup
Well,
truck. Or
that's the thing. Side by side's great for that stuff, but truthfully, a quad will get you so much further back in push than a side by side will, because a side by side is twice width, right?
yeah,
So,
but I've ride a quad for all day long for years at my job, and I really hate that all day long. It's hard on your finger just trying to hold that fucking thing all the time. And can I just use a pedal and the steering? You have to put some muscle on it. At the end of the day, you're a bit more exhausted with a quad than a side by side. But
that's definitely
yeah, it's more about that because a quad is cool because you can pretty much go between the trees, and you don't have to worry too much about it. If you go slow, you can get. But what I hate with a lot of quad is, at least the more recent one I had to use, they were too high. They were going really good at high speed in straight line, but I don't want to turn with it. I was like, holy shit, man! I was on the road at like 50, 60 kilometer. I was, holy crap, man! I could go a lot faster. Like, it was range for it. I was like, no, I won't, man. That thing is like, I would just turn over, and yeah, no, I was seeing myself just get completely destroyed, and yeah, it's a bit too high. The older four-wheeler that he used it for a
Yeah.
while, it was pretty low.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was able to turn, like, do 360 whatever, and do some stupid stuff on wet grass, but I have one of my friend that have flip over, and it flip over him and just broke it his rib cage, a couple ribs. I think 2 ribs that he just flip it over him, and that's the handlebar that have got him. Yeah, he was saying, "Oh man, no, I don't try to do some 360 or whatever on ice and on wet grass, but he still do a bit of stupid things." But I was looking lately at all the people with the tricks of BMX and that they do now. When I was doing that, we did not have access to all the view and all the things, so we did not know what others were doing, what were the techniques, so we can practice. So now what I see is that people have the technique and they do some pretty crazy shit. But if you look at the fail, he won't tell you right away, maybe, but there's some fail and some serious injury with it.
Right.
I don't know if they get, yeah, I don't know if they have like a show that will describe all the worst injury trying to do those things. Well, I've seen Red Bull trying some stuff with the kind of jump that is softer, like in air, whatever, when their landing area. And I was looking at it, being like, okay, it absorbed the shock, but it's not super easy to hold it on that thing after. So they try to just kind of get off the bicycle and get it away, whatever. But man, if it flip over you, or like one thing I remember trying, I was trying to do some front flip, and I had the bicycle kind of just flipping on me when I was on the ground, like whipping on me a couple times or whatever. I wish I had a couple of video to show, but
I remember.
I've
I
broke
remember
I've broke a
jumping on
couple
my
helmets.
BMX. I remember
Yeah.
jumping on my BMX and always missing one foot off the pedal, and the pedal would come around and slap you in your chin.
Yeah. Oh fuck, man, that
That
was
also-
painful. That one, yeah. So mostly with the grip metal one that we had, yeah. And when I remember having, like, I've changed a couple helmet, and one of the things that was really bad with it is back then the helmet were not what they are now.
Yeah.
The foam in it was so freaking hard, and like that it was just cracking. But where I was practicing, there was some big rock in the ditch, then when to get a new ditch and put big rock around. But I've hit my head on it a couple times, like with my helmet, and the helmet was just broken right away, man. So yeah, I guess you get less injury, but I was still really zombified by that shock, and a big head trauma. I would say. I enjoy to look at their new paths, because the people now, what they do, they have a lot more technique and can practice, like,
I
if
I
you have a
literally,
camera that show you
yeah,
what you do and why
that's it.
you're wrong when you're wrong, it's way more easier.
Yeah, yeah, it 100% is. It 100% is. Progression has come a lot more, and you see it in a lot of more things like skateboarding, BMX, things like that. You can go like find video of somebody else doing it online, right? And B, you're right. So once you've seen it executed properly, and if you video yourself, you can also see exactly where you're putting your weight wrong, where you're doing it. Like it becomes easier to mimic the what you're trying to copy. It's just a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah.
I've always said that. I said that the reason the tricks have gotten so much more crazy is simply YouTube. It's YouTube. Like being able to see, watch, rewind, watch, rewind, and learn the exact motion and body positioning of them, and then just replicating it yourself.
Yeah,
It,
I'm not
yeah,
able to do a holly anymore. Okay. And I have to watch the other day someone do a kickflip. And I don't know why, but my brain was like, oh, yeah, yeah, that's how you do it. I'm like, dude, you should start with the holly again. You're still stuck at, you need to try that again. I was like,
I
I've just not
guarantee I could
practiced
still
enough
ollie. I
lately.
definitely can't kick, flip, or heel.
Yeah, yeah, that's like just after was like realizing, dude, I've did it enough that I don't know why, but at one point I had a head injury and a pretty bad, and after that I was just not remembering how to do it.
See, me, I
So I
think
just
like
need to practice it. It will come back because I've did it a long time before. Like I was, I don't know, I've skated for maybe 4 or 5 years, something like that.
I said, there was no good concrete in Antigua. I wanted to skate, and I bought a skateboard and stuff, but there was nowhere to go, and there was nobody else who did it there. So it was a fool's mission. It wasn't happening, but I
Well,
did learn.
church, Jehovah, church.
Jehovah churches
Uh,
always have great paper.
yeah, yeah, a lot of church place. I'm sorry, guys, but a church were really having a lot of ramp and stuff like that. I could slide on. Uh, I wasn't doing as much ramp. I was doing stair stuff, like jumping over a stair. I don't remember a lot of different paths I was doing, but one thing that I was really loving to do is going down on a big hill with those fish skate, the fishtail skate. Holy crap, man! We went down on pretty bad one, and when years after I've seen all those boards made for that, I was like, wow, I want one, but now I don't want to get that fast. I'm kind of scared to get that fast because I've fucked myself before.
Those straight loose boards look wicked fun, but I mean, you're just like a second away from fucking. You're one move away
But yeah, my friend did the one that you just lay on
from.
it
You lie
on
down.
your back. Yeah, holy shit, man! I did that with him on a small hill. Holy fuck, that was really cool. But that's the only guy I knew that had it, and he's in Montreal. But I was like, dude, in my city you will get a lot more fun because we got hill all over.
Exactly.
But yeah, in Montreal there's like a couple hill that are cool. So he was going there watching and like mostly when they are. There was place in Montreal that it's. Not sure if it's the cemetery or the sanctuary, whatever. There's something there that it's like it's not open at some days in the week. So they were going there and having some watcher in the lower and one up. Because you want to get someone downhill. If anything happen, you want to have someone see you. Because they will wait that you get up and it may take an hour to walk again. So if you're injured, it would take an hour to know. Yeah, but yeah, it was quite cool, man. I went where we went. It wasn't a big hill because I never did that before. So we had to practice on a small hill and try a bigger one after that. But it was just like some small street around Montreal that they were going at. I wish we could have been at this spot that you've shown me, but you've shown me the video of it, and you've got like at the end of his video, he tried to take the curve and just flip over. I'm like, why
Yeah.
you show me that video? He's like, well, that can it can happen to you the first time for sure. Like that's why you got a helmet. That's why you need to take care of it. So
Oh,
yeah, I would like to do the bobsleigh stuff. That's one thing I would like to try. Cause you know when it gets really fast like that, and I don't know, I guess I would be really scared at one point. I'm pretty sure I'm not a super huge fan of speed, but just the kind of feeling to be a human rocket, I want to feel it. I want to try that
I don't
too.
know. I used to live on this massive hill, and like coming down it on your bike, and your bike would just be making god awful sounds, just like.
Yeah,
And then
you
like
get
you
kind of
get on the
zombify
brake,
into it.
you get on the brakes, and the brakes would just start smoking. Like I don't know. There's a lot of times like we used to have this rule that you had to be home in our house by dark, or our old man would like just lose it on you. And so like I would be flying down that hill at like 40, 50 miles an hour on bike. Then you'd have to turn and go up this other part of the hill, and like literally would like have to make this crazy corner at about 30 miles an hour by the time you put your brakes on as much as you could, and you couldn't stop. There was no stopping. Like sometimes you'd ride up the fucking fence on the guy's driveway on the opposite side. Like yeah, it was.
Yeah, I've learned to slide my bike out when I was riding with my dog. And my dog had the signal to stop. But the thing is, when he wasn't feeling any tension anymore, he was starting to wonder what the fuck happened. Because he was pulling, holy crap. Uh, when we've tested him, the quickest was 50 kilometer.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
on a bike, when he have his drive, he was not using his front leg. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but he wasn't using his front leg at one point when he was really going super fast. But I've never seen him do that
He's just
when he
using
was
like
just
three of
running
them.
otherwise. Serious, it's like a fucking kangaroo. You're like, what the fuck I'm having a kangaroo pet, whatever, a small kangaroo. No, that was quite crazy. When I've realized that my dog wasn't using his front leg at one point. I cannot tell you the speed because I never had a speedometer on my bicycle. But one thing that I've seen is there was some of my friends that tried to see how quick I was going with the dog, and
Yeah,
I think I was jumping around 55 maybe with the dog.
I believe it. A dog will get up to a dog.
He was able to
50.
get a bit faster with the bicycle, if I remember. Because
Yeah, I would
at
say
one point I don't know what happened in his mind, but I was seeing him like kind of change and get
yeah.
into a kind of I don't know, like if he was in panic mode, like
Well,
big
right.
adrenaline rush. And like one of the things that could have triggered that sometime was if a car was going too close to my dog.
Yeah,
My dog was just trying to get in front of the car to see around. And that's one thing that I've noticed with that type of hunting dog, that they really want to get at the front just to be able to see around them. When they are in the pack, they don't like it.
You ever had a dog that really liked weed?
Who really like weed?
Yeah. Have you ever had one?
Yeah, one of my girlfriend back then was having had a dog that was pretty pretty badass. Yeah.
I had a black.
We had to watch the roach
Oh
Because
yeah.
he was going in the
Eat the roach.
ashtray to like just with his tongue just pick the the roach and bite it, chew on it. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen him swallow a couple nug on the table a couple times. But the dog that I had his shot with cannabis one time. Like he was.
That's all I can say. Sheer unadulterated brilliance.
The dog was smart. The dog was smart. What can I say?
So I was doing butter with like an ounce of good bud, really good
Oh yeah.
stuff. And I'm making butter and I'm straining it and putting it on a plate and
So
having
you're
my
just
butter
like
in the freezer.
were you, well, hold on. Which type of butter were you making? Like butter?
I was making butter with the water, you know, when you add a lot of water and just let the butter rise on top, you know. So I was
Okay.
just straining all the water with the weight in it, whatever, and I've just strained it like that. I think it had more like I don't know. It wasn't the recipe in cannabis culture. I remember that
Yeah.
I've picked at that point. So it was like you make it boil and then have it on low for 3-4 hours, something like that.
Yeah.
And just simmer for 3 hours. And I've used that method, whatever. It wasn't bad, but the thing that I've did is letting the weed cool on a plate on my table. And I've strained everything, whatever. So I was like, holy crap, man, I need to go pee. I've, I was in front of that oven all the time. And so I was, okay, everything is done. Everything is in the fridge. I go pee. I can wash my hand, have no worry about any contamination. But when I came back, my dog was back under the table, tucked there, sleeping in a small, tuck on himself, whatever. So I was like, okay, well, it must be everything's normal, right? But I was wondering why the weed on the plate is gone. But since it had that buttery smell, really good, I wasn't guessing that the dog could have get it. So I was in a place where there was like we had maybe 8 roommate. So I go knock at the room of everyone. Like who the fuck have went to grab my shit when I went to the toilet? Like, is there someone that grab it? Like,
How dare you?
no, I was really wrong. I feel cheap because it was just my dog that I've scooped it on one big tongue bite and swallow it in one shot and go back to his spot like incognito. I've did nothing, but
Probably falling over sleeping later. Fucking bad.
yeah, but I've noticed later on that my dog was not really asking to go outdoor, and he was like 8-9 months old. So that's strange for that age that he don't want to go out before I go to bed. So I was like, well, okay, we'll go tomorrow earlier, whatever. I'll wake up more early. I hope that he won't pee or poop in my. If he pee, it's not too bad, but I hope he won't poop in my bedroom. Come on. So I wake up the other morning and my dog was really slow to go downstairs. He was like, I'm not sure I want to go downstairs.
Man.
So that's when I was like, there's something weird. And then when my dog went back to eat, he ate all his bowl, which he wasn't doing normally. Normally he was like reaching his bowl like fucking 5-6 times in a row, like every 2 hours he was going to take a couple bites because he was a pretty skinny dog, so I wasn't able to empty the whole thing in one shot. But that's when I've realized that dog had the munchies, man. You wake up
Hell
and
yeah,
like, oh, I've sleep 15 hours, man. I'm hungry now. But no, it was fine because it was maybe, I think, not more than an ounce of bud that was already strained, like the uh, already made butter with. So it wasn't as bad than if he had swallow the butter
bud
and the
itself, yeah.
bud before
Even just the bud
strain it.
itself, because they don't need it to be activated like we do, so they'll just get high up.
Yeah, and you still get stoned even if you eat it when it's dry.
Yeah.
Anyway, you still have a buzz from it. But the way I found funny is my dog, I've never wanted to touch it again. He tried
No,
a
see,
couple times.
I had one that would steal it like that, and it was a German Shepherd Chocolate Lab cross. They would just like steal the bag, eat the whole thing. Fucking didn't really care about the smoke as much, even though you'd blow it in its face or whatever. It didn't really care about that as much, but it liked to steal and eat it, and it only liked to steal and eat it when I had no weed and was fucking like clearing me out. I used to fucking hate Toby for that. I used to hate him all the time. Like, he would literally just like high up your weed. You'd walk out of the room. You'd come back and be like, "Where's my fucking weed gone?" And you just see fucking
Just lick it.
shoot up bag on the floor, and you
Shit.
fuck, you got me again, little fucking cocksucker. And then the other dog that I had that really liked it, she was a smoker, and she would just wait till you were smoking, come over and put her head on you, and like she wouldn't leave until you blow a couple in her face, and she'd just go curl up on her fucking mat and go to sleep.
I had cats that were really like really wanted to get where the smoke go, and I've never. I don't know if I tried to do that on him or whatever. I was a teenager or whatever, but that guy was always coming back to me when I was smoking. It was like, why, why you like it that much? Whatever. But yeah, I found it always funny that cats seem to like it a bit more. At least the
See,
few
I've
dog I
never.
had were not like the dog. My dog was chewing on a stem when he was a small baby, and there was some stem laying around, whatever, and he started to chew on it. So I guess that's why he recognized the smell later on, and he scooped the weed on the table. But what I found with that is when they get really a really strong experience when they are young, like, and
Yeah.
they don't want to touch at it really.
Hmm.
So, but it's not good because I've heard some people having dogs eating a native ash. I don't remember how big the dog was, but maybe 60 pounds. Not a super big dog, but normal dog size, whatever. So and he had to go at the vet to get his dog have a the carbon that they make you drink, whatever, the char. I think it's char that they make you drink. Yeah, charcoal.
Charcoal.
Fuck, man. I've had it
I don't
once.
know. I never had it. I had my stomach pumped. That was
Oh yeah. Yeah,
that was,
they did not pump my stomach, but yeah, when they gave me that, it's because I had eat like over an half an ounce, at least half an ounce of mushroom.
oh yeah,
My
yeah.
friend was worried that
Yeah.
maybe too much because I was like 14.
Oh fuck. That's a big dose. Like that's a big dose. But like I mean, you just take you to a park, take you somewhere good. You're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, but you know what?
Keep you happy. Just keep them happy. Keep them in a good mood, and
I
that's
bet
it.
so. But I can tell you that trip was quite funny. I remember part of it, and what you've told me after, I've kind of I've recalled better now. Once you've told me what have happened just before, but I think I had no school this afternoon, or like it was like Friday, something like that, and whatever. I had no school, I think, or maybe I was off that day. So I go and in late afternoon, and I don't know if he had school or he wasn't. maybe he was in high school, like another high school, whatever. Anyway, so he came back like maybe an hour after I went at his house because I had the key to wait him. He was waiting for me, whatever. He told me where the key was. So I'm going there. I'm smoking a bit of ash, and I sit in front of the TV, and like he was growing mushroom. So I grab a bag of mushroom, put it like the whole bag, like I bet it was maybe an ounce. So I put it on big bag of chips and mix it in a bowl and put it back in a bag and munch on it. I guess I've never opened the TV. I don't know what I was doing and what I was thinking at. Maybe I was just thinking at some stuff and then I started tripping. But my friend, when he came, he said, "What you doing?" And I was just laughing at the TV, giving up and talking with him, and like I was really starting to trip hard. And but I was still at the point that normally if you take a couple grams, you'd look like that. So he was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's cool, man. You start tripping, man. I better hurry to eat some so we can trip all the trip together, whatever." So
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh yeah, man, I got some stuff to smoke, man. That's fucking cool." And I'm showing absolutely nothing. And he was like, "Dude, can you grab the weed? Like, there's some hash, whatever. What's that?" Like, and so we end up grabbing my stuff in my backpack, and he's like eating again some chips with the mushroom, and he's looking in the bag. He's like, "Did you really ate a full bag of chips nearly? Like, there's just like a third of it at the bottom." And he looking at it, it's like, "Man, there's a lot of mushroom in it. That gonna be cool. Uh, how much you've put in that?" I was like, "Oh, I've just put the bag that you had beside, and I've put the whole bag in it." He was like, "Dude, you're fucking idiot, man." So, when he realized that I was starting to like really act like out of my mind, like really, I wasn't aware of what was really around me. So he just started to worry because he had never seen someone trip that hard on mushroom. So we were like at 5 minutes from the hospital by foot. So we went there. Well, just remember being a total mess in the waiting room and drinking that thing and shitting myself and puking and getting out and being like, I think I feel more sober now, but still tripping.
All right, I gotta go.
Oh, well, I don't remember when I went out, like if they get me out in the morning or not, but I just remember that there wasn't a lot of light in my, my I wasn't sure if if is it
All the
still dark or
bright,
I'm just really
bright
stoned?
lights in the waiting room, just fucking burning fucking mushroom eyes.
Yeah, everything was darker. Oh well, yeah, I, that's the time I remember that I don't remember if I tried to eat as much, but I remember that my friend was really worried on me. He did not want to be responsible of someone, I don't know, doing stupid stuff or escape in the city and get hit by a car. Because it was like, there was a movie back then. I don't know if there was a version in English, but it was like the Indian in the city stuff, like he act really randomly. But I think they've made it after Crocodile Dundee. Because, Crocodile Dundee was the same kind of thing. So I guess
That's not a knife. This is a knife.
this is a knife. Oh man, I got a nice one. I can show you a nice one.
Oh, mate.
You ever seen that kind of thing?
Jesus, what the fuck is that for? Like a giant lawn dart.
I don't know, but the tip, why it's bent like that and a bit like it start to unweld a tiny bit, it's because it's been point in some cement.
Huh.
and like it'd been tested on different structure before, let's say that. So no, don't do anything bad with that. It's some stainless steel. I think it's 440 or something like that. But it was a guy that I knew that was testing his ability to do something like that. He told me that he's never tried to do that kind of thing again. And one of the reasons why, even if I had it stolen a couple times, I've always had it back, is that people were recognizing who have made it. Just in my city, you know. So people were like, I know from who it is, and they were asking him, like, do you know if the guy have sold it? Because it never been meant to be sold. The reason why I had it was because we traded a service. So people around us remember that thing because it took him like, I think, a year and a half, 2 years to build before he built it and give it to me. Like that was just a whole thing that we're saying, oh, it will never happen, it will never happen, and it end up happening, and I still have it 25 years after. So that's cool. But yeah, the only reason why I had it made is that I wanted to get the kind of a how you
You
call
were
it?
planning on harpooning whales.
Yeah, kind of
were-
harp on, but you know,
you
kind of harp
were
on of war, whatever. But
you were
I
going
wanted
to hunt elephant on the savannah.
hunting elephant could work. Yeah, maybe if you got a couple of them that you can replace, I don't know. But I wanted to do it like, yeah, kind of harp on stuff, but like that with different attachment, and that one was supposed to be the one that will be like more the permanent one that you can let on all the time, and you have different one you can put otherwise. But we've never put any hole to get the attachment on it, and I've never end up doing the whole thing because the way we were thinking at it was I guess it would have make it into a kind of dangerous weapon, and
I'm
that's
thinking
the part
dueling
that we're
lawn
like,
darts. You need like 6 more of them bitches. Dueling lawn darts. You throw them at each other and you're trying to kill your opponent. That's it. Like, they're perfect.
oh. But you
Perfect.
know, like if the Roman could have been able to get some stainless steel on tip of their things, and that if instead of getting fixed on it, you can release it, so it will. I don't know. It was just a thing of we're into a medieval weapon, and my friend was just building welding and stuff, all kind of weapon like that. And one of my friend was doing those and with the foam, you know, with the how do you call it, Dungeon and Dragon kind of thing, whatever.
Yeah.
Is it that? Whatever. How you call it? Anyway, they go in the wood
Yeah.
and beat each other and say, "Oh, I got a spell on you! Boom, boom! You got 5 point less, whatever." Uh, for me, the foam weapon was just to beat my friend when we're on party, and he was always saying, "Dude, you hit too strong with that thing. You're not supposed to do that." I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm too high." I wasn't. I was just using that as, yeah, I don't know. But it was funny, man. I really enjoyed those foam weapons. But now there's some really nice one you can buy that, yeah, they are more fancy than just taping foam around like we're doing. But we're doing some prototype of stuff like that and see, oh, can we do that weapon and use it? How we would use it? And my friend was like, oh, I could try to weld a couple things and see if we can do a reconstitution of it, whatever, the real deal, but just hold it on your wall. Because uh, one of my friend, I've asked him to made. Oh man, I like my word, but you know, there's a big wall, a big ball with huge spike on it, on top of a
Yeah.
chain. Yeah. Okay. So they use
Me.
it and
Yeah.
flip it, and they were like, it was a big challenge to use that because you can really impale yourself and injure really badly. I don't know if you can survive if it hit you in your face, but at one point my friend was having fun with it, and the chain have just give away, and the ball have hit the car.
Yeah.
It just hit the door. There was nobody in. It was just in the parking lot, but he wasn't expecting that it go that far because he wasn't in the parking lot. Anyway, so it got like maybe
Oh.
150 meters away in that car, and bending the the door like
Oh.
maybe 6 inch in, but with the spike coming out into the plastic inside. So it would have been someone who would have probably get nothing, but get really scared on how close it could have been from them. That was like the most scary shit when they look at it. They were like, I think, well, the guy that had that thing died, but I think that they've got the the door of the car with the ball in it with the spike. They've
Yeah.
just got it out and had to replace it and pay the door back to that person. But if I remember, they've kept the door because they've never asked it to get that thing welded back on it. And had like years after that my friend have died, at one point I go to one of my friend, and I did not know he was the guy that they've break it together, whatever. And he still had the thing with the chain. It's just a metal stick with the chain. I was like,
Yeah.
put that
handle
shit
the
on your
thing.
wall.
Yeah.
But yeah, he didn't told me, man, we've told you that story before. I was, oh fuck yes, I remember that one. Okay, that's the crazy weapon that you wanted to get. Because the guy was like saying, okay guys, I'll build it, but if I don't see you swing it and be able to handle it, you don't buy it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so I found it quite crazy to see that made in real life, because you always think that, oh yeah, they were doing some crazy weapon back then. But if you look some of those show with the reconstitution of weapon,
Yeah.
the most crazy one, I don't remember the channel, but I remember when we were with on that other show that we've shown that guy that do everything with some rubber band and
Right.
and wood. He did some crazy, crazy things, and there was one of those old principle that he've remade all in wood, and I've sent it on different YouTuber to kind of perfect the weapon, and they've launched it into a real one. I think it's compound plastic, whatever. Well, yeah. For a while, you were able to order that thing from him, but that's I know that his channel have been struck many times because people are like, oh man, it could be used for dangerous purpose or whatever. But you can just practice on the squirrel around and get a barbecue of squirrel and try to use it in a safe manner. Y- 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 it's possible. But the project to build it and all the skill needed for that, that's one of the project I would have loved to do with my dad. Like that he do all the less little version of those things. That could have
That
been fun.
that could have
Yeah.
been fun. That could have been fun. My old man
Ye-
was good. My old man was good for stuff like that. I built a lot of boats with him and shit like that. Yeah, a lot of cool shit like that.
Yeah, 'cause the couple of friends I had that their dad were a welder. They did the most crazy shit I've ever seen.
That's welding.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's the mechanic guy can do quite cool. Like when you understand a bit mechanic, you start to appreciate the talent they got. But someone that don't really understand mechanic, it's look really really simple. It's not. When I was yeah, but the welder guy, man, there's a guy that was having. He did not know if he could make a steel legally or not.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
he knew all the different stuff you could use a steel that it should be legal. So he wanted to do one in copper, and yeah, he had a bit of, he was kind of just trying to perfect his skills. So he tried to do a miniature one, and people were like, "Oh, it looks really cool. Like it look old school, whatever." I think you had like maybe a gallon that you were able to distill into what, maybe a 26 ounce max. I'm not sure
Yeah.
if it was making a 26 ounce, maybe around that. So it wasn't like a big thing, but I remember that they were doing some essential oil with it, and that thing was pungent, man. The fucking lemonade, crazy, man. It's when you get it pure. I don't know if you ever tried to use it. It's like the terpene in general are a solvent when they are pure isolate like that. But the lemonade, oh man, I don't know. There's something with that when you use you smell it, it just smells really clean. I was using it in everything, just a drop of that in the laundry or whatever. But I did not know like that you can get the saponin in it, and there's the fact that there's a low pH that kind of sterilize stuff. I've seen something you can do with the wax, with the beeswax, and a bit of flax seeds oil,
Yeah.
and you add a tiny bit of lemonade in it, and it get more shiny on your wood. So if you got the chopping board, you can do that. You mix everything together, and normally it dissolve. It just the proportion have to be right, but I don't remember right away the proportion of it. But that's what I use on my shopping board, because I've buy a cheap one was in wood, and I don't know, maybe after a month of using it, I've just noticed the wood was looking super dry and start to kind of not chip, but have that small fiber on top all the time, where I was cutting more often. So I've just waxed it with that, I think they call it anchor stick. So I've just coated 2 times, like I've let it dry well the first time and then coat it maybe a week after. And after the second coating, it I've realized, man, when I chop with it now, there's no mark. Doesn't even leave a mark on it. It's like if the wood was a tiny bit more resilient to the cut on top of it. So if you have a table that you use really often, you may want to get some other type of wax like oh, I think is it Cardula? I don't remember what's the name, but there's other type of wax that you can use. I remember that's a tropical kind of palm trees that they get the resin of it. And I was joking with some people. It looked like if you have a big pots of crack when you buy it. It looked like oh man, I guess I could get the that pots, man. I'll show you. We're we're laughing too much about it. Is it that? I'll try to find it.
Mm.
Now, I don't do drugs though, just weed.
I think sporks are.
Man, I found the pots.
I think sporks are fucking pretty sweet, really. I mean,
Okay, well, so what's the name of Damar? Damar resin. That's the name of that one.
I've never heard of Damaris. What kind of fucking tree is this from?
That's Damar resin. And I'll
You
show
do
you
it.
what it looked like.
What the fuck do you do with that?
You harden your anchor stick. Look how oh, can you
Man,
still?
you just wrap that in tinfoil and you go and sell that on the corner.
Oh, seriously, man? If I put it in a bag, it will look like if I'm trying to sell crack. I just need to get that episode of holy crap, I just lose his name. What's the black guy that is doing the crackhead?
Hmm. You talking the one on Dave Chappelle?
A big comic guy, a big
Dave
name.
Chappelle.
Chappelle, exactly. That Chappelle. Yeah, man, his character.
Tyrone
The
Big.
drug addict.
Yeah. Hold on. I got that. Hold on. Where's that? Got a button for this. I have a button. Slow as hell finding it.
Is this a 5 o'clock free crack giveaway?
So yeah, I was joking one time with my friend, showing him that, and I had a neighbor listening at my door, being sure that I was really having a big, huge pots like that of crack.
Is this a 5 o'clock free crack giveaway?
So I had the police asking about drugs. Like, I'm sorry, I don't take that kind of thing.
I got a police button here somewhere too. Hold on.
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
freaking kilo of it, man. You think I had a kilo of crack? Oh man. Oh, seriously.
If nothing else, we get lots of use out of the button board.
But you know, I was really not expecting to have someone try to sneak on me when I'm showing some freaking Damar resin that you use when you do, like, that's what I was explaining, some acoustic to have a finish on your wood, you know. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, sure, I will have some solvent to dissolve that, but flaxseed oil work as a solvent. Resin can dissolve in some oil like that, some type of oil. Yeah, sometimes you need maybe turpentine, but turpentine, I think it's not as good on your chopping board, but you could have a food grade version. But what we got now in most place, they have a accelerant to added with it that make it less food grade, I guess. You know, so they get kind of a type of hydrocarbon in it, and it make it just, you know, quicker to dry, because it's always leave a kind of oily finish anyway. So it helped to get at least drier without having that oily finish to enhance, like, to, you know, avoid, I don't know, it just doesn't dry as quick otherwise if you don't have it in it. But my friend that had tried to do some turpentine, because he was and some pine, yeah, some pine stuff with you do the turpentine, and he had some cedar also that he used making cedar oil, and the reason why he was distilling that was for hunting, He was hiding his smell on his clothes with it. And
Oh yeah.
and when he was going at the camp, he was
But aren't you just
having
gonna
a
smell
bit
like
of it
fucking
around.
turpentine then? Like that doesn't smell like bush.
It
Like
smelled like if you cut a pine.
I guess so.
So that
Yeah.
may just be. I don't know if it was working that good, but that's why you've did that distillation of those two things with the small still. So that was quite cool to see. Yeah, because you always think at all those terpene and perfume and stuff and volatile, like all the hydrocarbon and all that has been all a different subject. But when I started to play with the beeswax and those resin to do a acoustic or to do all those old stuff that we used to do before we use the petrol base and more specific molecule for that. I was like, man, I want to try all the old style stuff with how they were finishing their wood. I just want to know how to do it and try to do a couple things and test it. Maybe put a couple weekend on it and have fun. But because I wanted to do a chessboard at one point and have it finish
That'd be cool.
the old style.
Like
But
like actually
yeah,
make it out of the squares of wood and stick the squares of wood together and like
well,
do like a real nice one is what you're talking.
I have some plating that when you do a door and they just have a small layer of good wood on top of it.
Yep.
So when you buy a oak uh, garage door, it's normally just the finish that it's oak. So
Yeah.
at one point I was doing that
The
as a
interior
work.
is probably screwed. Yeah.
I've just got maybe 4 or 5 small slate of it that I could do a small small chessboard with it. I just have a couple small slices because they were breaking off at one point, and I was like, "Oh, I put it in my pants. I'll go at home and try to do a chessboard with it because we were about to put it in the garbage anyway."
Yeah.
But man, I've never did it, but it's always around, always close by. The only thing I was thinking at lately is since they are so dry, I will have to soak them in water before I can chop them into square. Because otherwise I will just have flake on the wood.
I think so.
All the wood would flake away, I'm pretty sure. I won't have a nice finish. But yeah, it's something I could do quite easily. Just need to figure out how I'll be able to glue those small square without having a press with the steam and all that thing.
I've been wanting to do a coffee table where I like slab the bottom of the tree and then like take that portion off and then power plane like both sides off till it's smooth so you can see all the tree rings going all the way out and then like make that into a coffee table. I've been wanting to do one of those for a while and there's all kinds of like dried stuff around now from forest fires last year. So
Yeah,
I wanted to do one of those.
the reason why I've never finished that project, but I still have it a bit around. I've never get back really on it, but I always like, don't want to let it go. I'll, I'll try to do it at one point. Uh, but it's because I wanted to do my piece into a bone of there, and I have one that were when you hit the bone and the bone turned pink.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I just had one like that. I've had more. I don't know if because that's my dad that give it to me, and I think that there I've broke his leg or the arrow I've touched the leg. I'm not sure,
Hmm.
but but what I've seen at one point is sometimes they kind of I don't know how I could describe it, but they kind of break the leg when they want to bring it back. They hold it by the leg and the leg just broke.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's maybe that because there's still blood going in the body and maybe it get into the bone like that. I'm not really sure. Maybe someone can tell me why you can get some pink bone once in a while. But it wasn't the first time I had seen it, but it was the first time I was just taking it and being like, oh, I'll try to do something with it. But cutting bone, it's really not fun. When you want
No,
to do
no, no.
art with it, it go into uh,
It's so
between
hard at that point.
ceramic
Like, yeah.
and plastic. It's like if you had those two things together and you try to chop into it. Because if you go too fast, it kind of melt and it heat up your blade really fast. So you need to have those tools for jewelry to go on it to be more precise also, and you have like those diamond blade and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when you have a diamond blade just exploding in front of you, you may have some classes and stuff like that. But I've seen a guy having some chop here and there, and I was like, "Holy crap, man! What that guy is doing?" And then I realized on the table he was exposing all those things that he was making with bone and the iron and stuff like that. And I was, oh fuck, well, I go talk with that guy. So I'm asking a couple things, and he told me that you should try to carve anything else but that, just because of the cost of buying all the blade all the time, and the equipment that you need to get is more precise and really more. I don't know how to say, but it's more made for than the stuff that you get at your home hardware. You could still do some stuff with it, but with a small drum mill, you need to get the best blade on it possible because the blade that you get at Almador, I don't know, I was passing through quite quick, but I had some fun with it till I realized that, man, all the dust in the room, the
Yeah.
smell was making my girlfriend at the time kind of want to throw up every time. Like she was like, dude, it smelled like you were burning the bone of a pig or whatever. It smelled really bad in it. And the dust is so fine that my mask was clogging after I think an hour or two. So I was only able to work for an hour or two, and then I was just going out and yeah, just cleaning all around for that. In fact, it was just like maybe working till I break all my pack of blade, like a small 5 pack, and I think I was going through in an hour or two. But man, I've given away on it. I miss it, but the big reason why I don't do that kind of thing anymore is my hand are not handling that kind of thing. It's more precise stuff. I would need to get the really good tool that I just put with a lever and go down on it. Let's say could be easier, but to handle a Dremel and stuff like that, I would not do that. I would like to do that kind of art. I think it's something that people kind of we're all doing in the winter, the long winter. They start to do some arty stuff. You know, all the woodwork. I think it's worth to do something nice instead of having all those IKEA stuff with just pressed wood. That
Yeah.
thing is just as soon there's water in it, it's crap. So even if you had really something that looked nice, it's crappy after. But the big reason why a lot of people have give up on the real wood, it's fucking heavy.
Yeah. It's
When you need to move it sometime, holy crap, man. One of my friends had all that kitchen set of his grandmother, and that is great great grandfather or I don't know, like 2 3 generation away that did it. And the guy did it when he came in Canada. So like his first few winter whatever he was working on it, and he wanted to do that as a gift to his wife. And I think it took him like 5-10 years to do all the kitchen kit like that. But when my friend took it, he was like, "There's not many places where we have a big kitchen like that anymore to have all those things." Because they really had the fancy kit, like they had the buffet, they had what they call a secretary for the hallway. They had the really big table that you could put an extension on, like two type of extension, or have really the compact one. Yeah, man, all the chair were carved, and a lot of the chair were in one piece. So, man, I've never seen someone do a chair in one piece before, but that was one of those crazy stuff. He had a couple of those chairs that were in one piece, but not all of them. So, can you imagine, man, the guy that just look at this huge log and being like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do two chair in it." Man, you carve a chair in a log. That's a huge tree that you
That's pretty.
don't see that often.
That's a big tree. That's a big. More often than you think, but especially out here. But yeah, that's a huge tree. One thing I've done that came out really cool was I once did a bookshelf where I carved it out with a chainsaw, each shelf individually. Then they kind of looked weird, like they weren't perfectly symmetrical fucking holes. And then when it polished up, it actually looked really good. It didn't look just everything so perfectly symmetrical, so it ended up looking really unique. And then it was the problem was it was like you said, it was too heavy. It was so heavy, so I moved it a couple times, and then like I was moving from a place, and I'm like, "Fuck this! I'm not taking this thing with me." I put it outside. I swear to God, it was outside for about 30 seconds before somebody like pulls up and is like, "Yo, can I have that? That's awesome!" And then they lift.
Yeah, you could have sold it really hastily.
Oh man, like I was like, "Oh, all right, yeah, you go with it." Like,
But that's what I think that it's weird now. We have like that mentality that we we really enjoy the old stuff, but we don't see it as critical in our life now because, like you said, it's really heavy. But my friend, when he's seen the whole kitchen set, he was like, "Dude, the secretary stuff, okay, it's the more fancy things that he did, and the kind of a kind of office stuff, but a small office for the hallway." But he said that thing was like maybe common in some bourgeoisie, whatever. But the guy wasn't a super rich guy, but when he did it. But since he was doing really good in carving wood and all that kind of thing, he kind of had a really good reputation, and he had a big land and all that shit. He kind of made good in his life. So what that had that kind of a feeling like a, a link with the family, that they were like, oh, he did all his official paper on it, whatever. So they wanted at least that part to never get sold outside of the family. At least that part stay in the family, whatever. But it was like, oh, okay, cool. So I'll leave it to one of my uncle, whatever. So I don't have space in my apartment. But when he tried to just get the table and the chair, okay, it fit, yeah. And now he was like, oh, I'll try to get the buffet here, because there's enough space. I could use it. To get it at the second floor, he said it was really hard. I don't know how much it weighed, but they were saying really many 100 pounds. I don't know how many 100 pound it were. Oh man, it was one of the heaviest thing. I just tried to push it with him in place, and yeah, we had to be two guys pushing on it to be sure that yeah. I wasn't able to, I'm not heavy enough to just push on that thing. It wasn't moving with just me. I was like, don't ask me to move it outside of our apartment. But man, the carving wood like that was really great. But I just, yeah, I just miss a bit like people that were able to do it themselves and pass it into the family and it stay like that for hundred of years. You know,
Yeah.
because the thing that he had, I think it's 100 something years old, and there was absolutely no sign of anything like, oh yeah, there was some corner that may have been round a bit more or whatever, but he was always using that finish on it and being able to get something nice. But yeah, his girlfriend was always upset saying, dude, it looked like the dust accumulate everywhere on that, all the small detail. I hate to clean that shit. It looked really nice, but I need to clean it really often because you see the dust right away sticking on it. And mostly when
That's
you
it.
use natural
I got
wax.
I got lots of pieces of like I collect lots of petrified wood and stuff, and like that's the worst. Cover.
But the petrified would do dust in itself, no?
That it does look like dust somewhat. It needs to be dusted a fair bit.
Yeah, I enjoy the old art like that. I mean, it's more, I think it's a bit more accessible than buying what's that car of Elon Musk, whatever.
Tesla.
Yeah, the Tesla. I don't think I'll buy a Tesla. Yeah, just put my money or Maserati. I know they are a pretty expensive, quick car. Closenberg, whatever. I don't know.
I
Closenberg. I don't remember how
speaking
it's called.
speaking of
Closenberg.
speaking
I think it's
speaking
Closenberg.
of cars, I had a bad so I've been I'm looking for a new car now as a result of teaching my second oldest son to drive, and yeah, he was I had him out and he was doing all right. He was driving all around and like pull and he's like, "Can we make a stop?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like he pulls into the parking stall, but he's in too far. He's sticking too far out still. Like you need to roll forward a bit more. And I'm just like, let your foot off the brake and then put your foot back on the brake when you got to when you're ready to stop, right? Anyways, he does that, and then like when he goes to put his foot on the brake, puts it on the gas, car jumps the curb and like smashes into the wall, and like
Oh,
yeah,
you fucked the front of your car.
yeah, fucked it pretty good. So now I'm like shopping for a new vehicle.
Whack, man. You should have shown him to ride a donkey instead.
I
You know,
probably
when the
should.
donkey just stopped and he continued, could have
Yeah,
been him that hit the wall.
yeah, I took him. I took him around, and at first I took him where there was nobody, and I seen how he was doing, and then I'm like, okay, you're good enough that we could take you a little bit more, and then it was just too much. You live, you learn.
Yeah,
Nothing money can't fix, I guess.
yeah, but he will have to wash the dishes and get the garbage
Uh,
out, and right? He's now your slave.
well, something like that. Like he felt really bad. He felt worse about it than I did. So
The guy's like, at least you feel bad. Okay. First part done.
oh
Yeah.
he's really, I'm like, yeah, dude, like, nobody's hurt. That's all that really matters. What do you do? What do you do? Can't freaking wind back time. No point in getting mad.
Supreme Grape was talking a lot of spark shanking in jail. Spark like a fork that
Yeah,
they
man. Most-
or the spoon that they try to just shave into a. Oh man, I don't know, but I remember looking at a
I
YouTube
mean,
video
there's
that was,
nothing better for
you know,
shoveling coleslaw in your mouth than a fork. I mean,
the,
that is the number one tool for fucking coleslaw. I'm telling you, that's what fork's all about. Coleslaw.
which one? Sorry, I don't heard you well.
This fork, man.
Yeah, but
Half
just a
the half
fork.
spoon
Yeah,
fork, spoon fork, half spoon, half fork.
yeah. When I was kid, we were saying that it's the tool that they were giving to the Nazi so that they can poke out the eye. Don't do that. But no, we're kids, you know. We're like you were picturing the Nazi doing it. But no, I've seen a documentary on YouTube, or I think it was just a clip, whatever. That was like that officer from a prison, a famous prison, that was showing all the weapon that they've seized through the year.
Oh
Maybe
yeah,
a
those
National
that's
Geographic things. Man, it was the best fucking shit I've ever seen. It was like, holy fuck, look at
oh
all the.
man, like the thing, like a tattoo gun out of a couple ballpoint pens and a motor.
Yeah, some
Like
of them, they were saying that thing work.
yeah,
And they were showing how it worked because it was able to fucking doing again and again. And I was like, okay, those guys are really smart, man. You never want to get an engineer, a weapon engineer in prison. You end up doing weapon for everyone. Yeah, those ones. Yeah, they are quite roundish. But the one on the
eye
left,
grabber.
I like the one on the left with the two spikes.
Uh, one of them, yeah, that one on the left. I don't know. Looks kind of. It looks like a cat. Like a cat that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's useful stuff, but don't use it to poke eye.
I mean, like they're probably gonna send forks up to the astronauts. They don't have to send spoons and forks. It makes sense, right?
Oh, you think it won't? Oh, I really don't know, huh?
You know, I don't know what they're really. It's one of those things. They're good at nothing, but they're unreplaceable.
Yeah, it still do the trick, yeah.
Tell you,
Uh,
coleslaw's the only place for it. Nothing else.
yeah, you cannot always lick your in your bowl, lick your plate. You need a spoon. Yeah, okay, but I've got asked a couple of times when I was working in the field, why you always carry a knife? Like, why we fucking harvesting veggies? Like,
I don't know. Maybe you want to play
and
fucking
my boss
tool.
at one point he gave me like a old steak knife to go harvest some stuff. I was like, man, that's a really good type of knife. Like, you know that type of blade is really resistant. He's like, yeah, it's going through the ground and I'm chopping the veggies to harvest with it. Yeah, it's really resistant, but that was just like a fucking kitchen knife. I guess he's got it from his, like, he's never said his wife that he took it and he's like, oh, it worked good. It's like one of those expensive knives. Like, I was like, but that was just one of those steak set. But I was like, man, I've seen that kind of a steak knife before, but it just go into a set and they are quite good. But yeah, I've we're using at one point a ceramic knife to do stuff like to not when we harvest in the field, but like just when we pick up the bad part from it. Because my boss was saying that yeah, I remember the ceramic knife wasn't making the basil and lettuce and stuff like that oxidize. If I remember that was the thing. I don't know if it's really like that, but I remember something about that the blade was making it oxidize. So when we're like say, chopping the basil, we're using the motor or the ceramic blade. Um,
Mm,
I,
okay.
I don't know, man. When I do it at home, I still do it with a freaking knife and metal. I don't know. Well, maybe some people find it better. I like the ceramic knife for that kind of thing, but it just you cannot really bend it. You know, you cannot like butcher stuff with it really. It's more like to chop a tomato or whatever, like more delicate stuff, I guess. Yeah, I really need to buy a couple good knife, but my problem is that I always get a couple good knives like that and end up doing that. Like, oh, I need a knife to go harvest some veggies and this and that, and end up destroying my knife on some rock. And there's, uh, I mean, I got old knife that if I get it, I guess with someone that could really reshape the blade completely to make it good again. I mean, the knife is still holding together, but it's now so round that the last time I just took a buffer to have a
Yeah.
kind of angle in it. just, just fixing the buffer there and being like, yeah. I will get a nice cut on it, but I'm pretty sure I was just destroying the knife at that point. I tried to, like, I'm good to sharpen some tool, but I don't like I was doing that with the soft rock. I don't know how you call that rock, kind of soft rock and another tool, but I wasn't like using all the technique, all that thing. I was just doing it quick in the field. And at one point, I had to do that for all my coworker because they
Yeah.
realized that mine were just cutting better. So I don't know how I don't know if I could still do it as good now. I don't practice anymore, but I remember looking at something that they were really describing how to make your angle in in two things, but lately I was looking at some people that play with axe, and the way that it need to work is so different that I'm like captivated just looking at how it works. 'Cause I cannot do that. Like my hand will just I don't know. Not not splitting wood for hitting myself. I think I would be cold to death trying to do that. But but I would just buy a splitter at that point. But the guy was testing an axe that get those movable part that just open.
Oh
Like
yeah,
there's
yeah, yeah.
a section that open on the side.
Oh, I see. Like
Have you seen those?
a splitting axe that flop. I've seen them. Yeah.
Yeah, they just have those two floppy thing on the side.
Yeah, those are kind of weird.
He said that he's not sure if it's worked better or not. And I've seen a couple guy trying that thing, and I don't know how strong those guys are. They look pretty strong and split wood quite easily in their video, but I don't know how hard it could be to split that log. I've not tried it. So I was like, maybe the the thing just hit on it and kind of the impact just go at the point of the axe, at the tip of the axe, because it stopped there. So that's the only thing. I was like, I'm betting that the impact, maybe the principle of that is to get the impact of the lower point, when you do that, because it's stopped by the higher one. I'm not sure if it's how it works at all, but I was trying to make some theory on how it really worked. Because the guy that tried to do that kind of thing made it that it still worked. But how good it worked. Is it really better? Should we have all the acts displaying acts like that? The people that try it, they don't seem convinced. I'm still, yeah, still looking at the guy had a kind of sword to for a splitting sword, but a short one. And he was like, I don't think it's that good. And then he started to try it around and he realized that that shit is really nice. It was like, okay, do not replace anything, but that's really practical to get around. He was able to split a log with it, as long it's not so huge. He was able to do, a small shovel. He was able to split some, made some plate on his wood or whatever. I don't know how you make it, but I was like, oh man, if I had a sword like that
Yeah.
with my hand and how heavy he said that it is, I'm quite sure that I will be able to swing it a couple times and have it in my leg or my foot or something like that. I cannot get that kind of shit. Just a small machete. I had a bad one. Those at the Canadian Tire that were like the cheapest one.
Yeah.
And the tip fell off at one point. Another one, it was in wood. I've broke it. It just split it in the middle, like it just showed all split in it. And I've got another one that was a kind of compound, a kind of resin, whatever. I don't remember exactly, but that one also the same thing. I've just broke it. I tried to hit it, man. I tried to hit it at the tip, but at one point it just hit the side because I'm fucking hammering that thing too long and I'm exhausted. I don't hit it right. And the problem that I always found with any of them is that the head was too light and the handle was not able to sustain any work all day long, whatever. So if you try to build a camp with it, it was really a bad shit. Yeah, it was. You may pass through two, three of them. So one of my friend go, he wanted specialized place for outdoor and survival, whatever, and
Yeah.
got himself a really good one. And dude, just looking at the head of it, I don't remember what the type of metal, but we're like, okay, that one will be good. It doesn't have the same shiny on it. It was like something really, and it was feeling a lot harder. And one of the thing I've noticed, it was a tiny bit longer. The handle was a tiny bit longer, but you were able to kind of just on unmount it, whatever. So you can put the head in a small kind of bag and get it with you. So I was like, man, that one was quite good. But again, the handle I just gave up. So if end up going to get another handle in a good wood made for that, and you still have it now. Like the head I've never gave up. So that was a really, really nice one. But the funny thing is like that shop now is closed because I don't know, maybe they were selling some really good equipment. But we're trying to get some stuff in the army surplus really often. Like the the best boot I've found, well, for that price was those jungle boots. I don't know if you ever tried the jungle boots. I like to go in the wood with that. As long that they're not, yeah. I mean, even when it's kind of cold outside, because it's close to your skin. I don't know. There's something that as long that you move with it, it's not that cold. But what I found really useful is when you walk in the wood with it and it just gets wet, there's no problem. You can dry it again. Because I was going in the wood with all those hiking boots and leather, and having my feet just choke itself in it, and having I don't know, man. I was more doing a culture of mushroom than protecting my feet, I guess. It's just toxic things. You remove your boots and everyone is fainting around you. So I was, it was a bit better to have some a couple pair of jungle boots and just wash them in the river and let them dry on the side of the campfire, and you'll be good tomorrow. There is no problem. But with the leather boots, and they'll take a week to dry by. And if
I have a fan that I keep on my leather boots. I get my leather boots wet quite often. I have a fan in the garage that I pull the insoles out of and just put the fucking fan on it, and the fan just blows on it all night. And usually they're dry by
Yeah, I did that once with some really good winter boots, and they had some plastic in it, and all the, the kind of the glue I've just left in some area to just curb it a bit. So, yeah, and I've always hated that thing. If I'm working with sharp object and I'm having really expensive winter boots, they're
yeah.
gonna destroy my boots. There's not a lot of really good winter boots I had that was able to get any sharp object around that may drop on my foot.
This is true. This is 100%.
Yeah, I was so used to have leather boots that I wasn't really paying attention. If I just bring my tool and it just I hit the boot slightly with my tool. Now the winter boot it's all sliced. But damn it, man. The little one, it's you just have a small scratch and there's nothing on it. Even
Yeah.
then, I had some boots when I was younger that have put some stud on it everywhere,
Oh,
and
nice.
there was so many stud here and there that I guess it was protecting. I'm not sure because there's still the wax still come off under the stud, so you don't see it, and all the small hole in it will expand at one point. With with so when my boot came wet a couple really too many time and got really dry under the harsh sun, my boots were just completely destroyed because I wasn't able to get my foot in it anymore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It
They were
dries up
hard as a rock, man,
and
and
all curvy and yeah,
with
yeah.
hole everywhere that had stretch. So it was looking really nice when I did it, but I think they lasted maybe a year before they get completely destroyed. But one thing I was doing is putting some screw in my sole, so that in the winter, if you want to stop, you got a couple screws. When you slide too much, you got a couple screw, and in the winter you can just do a tour more to get them less out of your boots. So I was trying to do that also because the back of the boots are always worn first. So I was trying to get the boots to worn more equally, if I can say. But with the screw, it was working quite good. It just that at one point the whole bottom was the glue was just coming apart, whatever. I could have went to repair it, but when I've look at I was wearing the 11 hole Canadian Army boots. I don't know if you know those one. I was loving those because they like a hole at your ankle, whatever, so you can fold more easily. But those models have stopped to be sold at one point. I don't know if they just changed the model of boots in the army or the surplus army were not having as much of it. And those that they had were looking a bit more worn out than the one I used to get, because sometimes they were taking like the brand new one in the pack and putting them aside, and you were you were paying more for them. And if I remember, they were like $150 for a pair of boots like that. But man, the Doc Marten, they were, I think, they were like over 200. So I was like, oh man, the Doc Marten looked cool, but I preferred to wear the other. But one of my friends have gave me a pair of Doc Marten at one point. They were close to be new, like he had worn them a couple times, and he wasn't like he was like, dude, I've got them too tight and I'm not able to break them. So we've just got them aside, hoping that he could resell them. So I got them. I was just wearing the right size. But man, that thing was like wearing some Snickers at one point. I've w- I've worn there so much that it was like my foot was print into it. Because I had a girlfriend trying to wear them at one point, and she was saying like, "I can feel the form of your foot in it. Like, doesn't fit my toe." But man, I don't know if the Doc Marten was better, but I was liking a lot more to walk with any other things than those two type of boots, because the Vibram uh, of the army Canadian Army boot, it just got that kind of rubber. It won't worn out really quick, but it
Yeah.
transmit every freaking shockwave into you. And I had always my lower back hurting with it. I don't remember if the Doc Marten was a bit better, but they were supposed to be better boots. But I've looked at that uh, a guy that just chopping off all the boots,
Yeah.
and sometimes you want to cry to see the boots that he's chopping off. Holy crap! But when he was chopping I think it was the First World War boots that they were wearing,
Yeah.
those that were responsible for the foot trench, they were quite good boots, but your foot doesn't breathe in it. Just that's one of the problem. Your foot doesn't breathe at all in it. So that's one of the reason why the jungle boots, when the U.S. Army did that, man, that was one of the best boots in that kind of more warm weather. I don't remember if they had a model for like in between whatever, but at one point I was starting to just get those hunting boots. But the hunting boots, they just put some hunting fancy detail on it, whatever, and then it's $100 more. It's just crazy shit. So I was like, yeah, they are more flexible. I like it, but you know what? I think if I could just get the unlimited supply of jungle boots for when it's warm, I would wear that. Because you don't feel you wear boots when you go in the wood, but you get absolutely no protection at all. Like really, if you got anything falling on you. But all the cap that I had on my boots on
Hmm.
all type of work that I did were never really protecting that much. And we're mostly using them to kind of kick on something, to put in place whatever. Like we're not really using that. I did not have really a lot of protection because most of the time my foot only have, I don't know, like maybe three toe in it. So I still have two toes on the side. I don't feel like I would let them aside like that. I would like to protect my my small toe and the one beside. I don't know, I feel like they are small and cute and need some protection. My big toe, yeah, I've break it a couple times. I don't know if you ever broke your big toe, but at first you feel that you're gonna be fine. Then you realize that you really look like an idiot when you try to walk for a while. And there are some small things that you were not realizing you were doing with your big toe. I was like, man, what I'm doing? And in the winter, this was the hardest thing. As soon that the sidewalk was starting to be icy, holy
Yeah.
crap, man. Yeah, I felt a lot more that winter. A lot more. But that was kind of my fault. If I remember, I've break my foot kicking on a door. Well, on my toe, on kicking on a door. So, yeah, my fault. I've kicked it. And the door, I've had a big dent. Yeah. So it worked for what I wanted to do, but it did not work it on my body. Both have break. But um, I don't know if you ever had some really good cap on a boot, but those how the risen one? I had a 2-time one that have break because with something I felt on my foot. Um, my bone have not like where it felt on my foot on the higher part I would say of my foot before. So all the hit was not on it first. I've not break my foot, but it was I don't know how they call it like microfracture or whatever. It was just
Yeah.
hurting for 3 weeks, like if I had break it, but it wasn't broke. It did not got super huge as much, whatever. But for a good month, I was well, at least for the first week, I was only wearing some grandma stuff, I don't know how you call it. You know, anyway, I did not wear. I think it was just a big snicker and some stuff like that for the first week, because just having my boots trying to fold and touch on the top of my foot was hurting so bad, man. But that boot, the cap, I've just shattered.
Hmm.
So when my boss seen that, it was like, "Oh man, no problem. I'll, you know, eh, you if you can still work, I'll get you at work and try to get you on something, whatever." But he said, "Have you went at the hospital to look at it?" Like, well, I went to the hospital and they said, like, they did an X-ray and they said it's not broke, but you have a lot of small crack on it. Like just tiny fracture here and there, but nothing all the way to the bone or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, they were like, yeah, we seen you had something, but I was able to still do my work. So my boss was just like, well, if you can get on the four-wheeler and ask to the people to do this or that, whatever, and look, bring us some stuff, whatever. So I was like on the four-wheeler with the leg up on the side and just having fun. But man, when yeah, my boss went on me and said, "Oh man, the next time, you know what? Just just get your foot off of there. Don't try to stop it. Just fuck that shit. Let it go." It was like, dude, I don't think he'll be lucky two
Oh, that's
time in a row.
we're back to quads again. So like people trying to stop quads flipping over. So just get the fuck out of the way. Get out of the way and let it do what it's gonna do, and then pick up the piece. Like don't fucking try to get underneath it and try to stop it and hold it up. Like that shit's crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I had tried at one point to get on a really steep hill with a four-wheeler.
Yeah.
And we knew we could, flip over. But you know what? I did not went fast enough the first try. I went at maybe half of it, and I wasn't able to get at the cliff. But what was crazy, it was doing like really like that, and then you had a small curve like that. I wasn't thinking it was possible to get over that but with all the trace of people that were going there before, it was obvious that they were really starting by the lowest part and going up. So I the second try I've had it and went up. Well, I can tell you that when you're flipping on that small edge there with a
Yeah.
four-wheeler, you cannot believe you're doing that. The
Yeah.
first time I've never did it again. And it was just, man, I don't know. It was enough for me. I had my rush of adrenaline. But uh, when I was thinking that if I would have flipped it over at that point, holy shit, man, I would have broke a couple rib. I don't know if, like, I guess maybe I could have survived, but it could have been really bad too. I don't know of anyone that died there, but there is a couple of guys that have broke some ribs there to try to pass over. The worst thing is when people were going too fast
Yeah.
because you cannot get on top if you're going too fast and you kind of go around.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just doesn't work if you go really fast. So I've been quite lucky to have it the second shot, and the guy that was with me told me that I should have never tried it anyway. And when I tried it the second time, he was so scared because he was like, I think he go too fast. He gonna flip over. But as soon that I went high enough, kind of, I don't know if I've slowed down or it's kind of slowed down by itself and I've just not pressed more and I've just had the right speed and got there. I don't see a lot of video that of people doing that kind of thing, but I remember where it was. I don't know if it still have that kind of thing, but honestly, that the kind of stuff that if my teenager would have tried it and I know it, holy shit, I think I would have flipped over. Oh man, I think I would have get a heart attack just for seeing the kids trying to do that. Like if you have it the first time in front of your parent, it's cool. But if you don't and you try again, holy shit, you're gonna get a heart attack for real. I think I would prefer to have my kids trying to jump in the river with the bicycle. I've seen some people having the bicycle hit on them after. At least a bicycle, it's not like a four-wheeler of 300-400 pound that flip on you. So
Right
I
on.
think I would just get a bicycle for my kids. So we'll go. We'll try next week to get a couple of other songs, maybe outro
You
song.
betcha. You betcha. We'll try a couple of other songs. A few more buttons. But
You got 2 more space. Okay. We could try to ask Steve what he's doing. Steve, he's with his baby girl.
I don't.
Baby is not
He
out again.
must. He must be. He hasn't been on. He hasn't been on Instagram much today, so he must. Have been, I don't know. It's hard. He's getting close. He's got to be getting ready to fucking have a kid.
Yeah.
Have kids anyway.
I was looking at Claude from Nexus Protection.
Yeah.
We could try to contact them again because maybe he doesn't have as much event. I don't know. The last few time I've talked with him, he was like, "Oh, I'm that event in whatever we're in BC or whatever." And another time I'm like, "Oh man, what you're doing? Can you join us tonight?" I think he was like in another farm. Like, I don't know. He's always like at 2,000 kilometers from his home, and he's like, yeah, I don't think he'll be able to join in time. But that could be cool to have him back. I did not had anyone joining me for many question about IPM or that kind of thing with anything with bugs. I think it's the best guy that we can get around here. I mean, Matthew Gate is do a good job and Claude do the same kind of job too.
Yeah.
Uh, So anyway, they have both different styles also. So yeah, could be a good compliment. I've not seen him on any show lately. Yeah, I'll try to book him. I've not talked with him in a couple of months, so could be good. Um, and there was, yeah, I was expecting to see Gorski, but Maybe another time. So yeah, thank you guys to have come tonight,
Yeah,
and
yeah, thank
we'll
you.
try to make something even better next week.
Awesome. Stop. Take it easy.